Are you just sick and tired of all the fat loss advice out there that just doesn't seem to work? But we're going to cut right through all that noise and give you the simple, science-backed plan that actually will. No myths, no magic potions, just the real facts on how your body really burns fat.
Does this sound familiar? You've been dieting, you're hitting the gym, the number on the scale is even going down. But then you look in the mirror and it feels like you've lost more muscle than fat. Ugh. It is such a classic frustrating trap. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to avoid it for good.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to figure out why fat can be so ridiculously stubborn. Then we'll get into how your body actually burns it off. We are going to finally settle that great cardio versus weights debate, bust some really common and dangerous myths, and then we'll wrap it all up with 2 clear plans you can literally start today.
Okay, first things first, let's tackle the big one. Why does fat seem to show up on our belly first, and then it's the absolute last thing to leave? I promise it is not in your head. There is a real biological reason for this. And you know what? Understanding it is the first step to finally beating it.
Okay, this is actually pretty fascinating. Think of your fat cells as having these little gatekeepers. You've got beta-2 receptors, which are like the green light. They're just eager to release fat for you to burn as energy. But your belly fat is packed with alpha-2 receptors. These are the red light. They are literally programmed to hold onto fat for dear life. This is the biological reason that last little bit of belly fat is so incredibly stubborn. So how do we get that green light to turn on and, just bypass the red light? Well, we need to understand the body's fat-burning assembly line. It's a 4-step journey, and once you know it, you can make the whole system work for you, not against you.
It all starts with a simple chain reaction. You create an energy deficit, and your body signals your fat cells to release fuel into your bloodstream. But listen, here's the key. This process doesn't really kick into high gear until you're pushing your limits. When you're tired, you're breathless, maybe a little uncomfortable. That's the moment your body is forced to unlock its most stubborn energy reserves. So where does all that burned fat actually go? This is going to blow your mind. It doesn't just melt away. The vast, vast majority of it is converted into carbon dioxide and water. So think about this. With every deep breath you exhale during a really tough workout, you are literally breathing out burned fat. How wild is that?
Now that we know all this, we can finally settle one of the biggest debates in all of fitness. For maximum fat burning, should you be focusing on cardio or on weights? Let's break down the science.
So here's how they work differently. Intense cardio, it burns immediate fuel, stuff like glucose, during the workout. But its real magic comes from the afterburn effect, where your metabolism stays cranked up for hours afterwards, burning fat to recover. Now, weightlifting, its main job is different. It acts like a shield for your muscles. It sends this powerful signal to your body that says, hey, preserve this precious muscle while we're in a calorie deficit. So, what's the verdict? There is no single winner. You need both. Cardio kicks off the major fat burn, and weightlifting makes sure that you're losing fat, not your hard-earned muscle. Seriously, if you want that sculpted, lean look, you absolutely have to combine them. It is the 1-2 punch for a total body transformation. All right, now let's talk about self-sabotage, because even if you have the perfect plan, there are some really common mistakes that can completely derail your progress. We're going to expose 2 of the biggest traps out there so you can steer clear of them for good. Come on, we have all been there. You finish a workout, you're absolutely drenched in sweat, and you just feel like you must have burned a ton of fat. But is that feeling actually connected to reality? The answer is a big, hard no. Sweat is just your body's air conditioning system. It's not a fat-burning meter. Any weight you lose from sweating is just water. And guess what? It comes right back as soon as you have a glass of water. The real measure of a good workout is the intensity and the effort you put in, not how much you sweat. Okay, this one might be the most dangerous trap of all. You want results fast, right? So you decide to slash your calories way, way down. It seems logical, but it's actually the worst thing you could possibly do. See, when you drastically cut your calories, your body goes into what's called starvation mode. It basically panics, thinking there's a famine, and its #1 priority becomes survival. So what does it do? It clings desperately to its fat stores and starts burning your metabolically expensive muscle tissue for energy instead. Yeah, you lose weight on the scale, but it is all the wrong kind of weight. Okay, we have covered the science, we've debunked the myths. Now, let's put it all together.
I'm going to give you two proven paths to success. One is for the absolute fastest possible results, and the other is for building a lean body that lasts a lifetime. So this is the high-intensity path. It's built around a really strategic cycle. We kick the week off with HIIT cardio to burn through all those glucose stores. Then we follow that up with weight training to protect our muscle. The longer, steady cardio sessions, we put those later in the week to maximize the time your body is in its prime fat-burning state. It's all about timing.
But look, exercise is only half the battle. To make this plan really work, these rules are totally non-negotiable. You need high protein to save your muscle and high fiber to stay full. You have to be in a consistent calorie deficit, and you gotta cut out all the sugar and junk food. They will sabotage you faster than anything. And finally, you have to prioritize 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. It is just as important as your training, I promise.
But hey, what if that intense schedule just isn't your thing? That's where the autopilot plan comes in. This is all about sustainable, long-term success. It's built on 3 really powerful habits. First, move lightly after every meal, like a short walk to help manage blood sugar. Second, eat smartly. Slow down and stop when you feel about 80% full. And finally, master your sleep. These simple things, they don't require a ton of willpower. They just compound over time to fundamentally change your body's metabolism.
And really, this is the ultimate goal, isn't it? The intensive plan gets you lean fast, but the autopilot plan keeps you lean. It's not about temporary willpower. It's about permanently rewiring your habits so that healthy choices just become your automatic default. When that happens, you haven't just changed your body, you've changed your entire life. And that right there is the real victory.